Dorothea Dix was a diplomat for the mentally unwell, advocating and debating for their place in history. My life was deeply impacted by Dorothea's work. I don't like to dwell too much on how it was before, but if you must know. Before 1843, life was hard for lunatics like me. I spent shocks, no food or drink, but who cares what the crazy ones think? No one cares what the crazy ones think. The other day I was woken by beatings, slashed beside my metal bed. They feed me starchy vegetables and lock me up in my cell to rest. It's hard to rest when Alice is crying. She weeps for her mom and dad. Alice sees visions of many places, but speak too much of visions and you'll wind up dead. You'll wind up dead.
Dorothea Lynn Dix was born on April 4th, 1802 in the town of Hampton, Maine, to a man described as an abusive alcoholic and a mother who was poor in mental health. Oh, Dorothy, sweet baby mine, may you stay safe from the pain I hide. When the darkness floods your mind, hold on to my lullaby.
At the age of 12, Dorothea and her two younger brothers were removed from their parents' home into the care of their grandmother, for whom she had been named. She had two younger brothers who she had raised when her parents were incapable. After falling short of the expectations of high society, she was sent to live with her aunt, to become a lady. At one such high society event she attended when she was 14, she met her distant cousin, 28-year-old Edward Bangs. He assisted her in creating a little dame school, which she ran and taught at for 4 years until she fell ill and returned to her grandmother's house in Boston. While there, Edward confessed his love for her and proposed. She accepted, but once her father died and she returned to teaching, she realized she was not supposed to marry Edward and rejected his proposal.
I must work alone, as I am condemned to do everything in this life, I believe.
She published several popular books before she fell ill with tuberculosis and took a recovery trip to Europe, where she was exposed to their successful asylum and reform. Once she returned to the United States, she was invited to teach Sunday school at East Cambridge Jail, an invitation which would spark her life's biggest work.
Hello? Hello, my name is Dorothea. Would you like to come to a Sunday school lesson? May I? I don't want to go to Sunday school. I don't want to be here at all. Is there anything I can do to help? No! Don't tell them, they'll lock me up. Lock you up? Or hurt me. They hurt Alice more, though. This isn't right. No one deserves this kind of treatment, especially those who need our help the most. I hear a song I have known for years, a cry for help filled with blood and tears. No one else can, but I swear I hear. I will put an end to this fear. What is your name? Annie. Annie, no one will ever lock you up or hurt you again. I promise. Dorothea made it her mission to keep her promise. She began touring local and state asylums, reporting their conditions and making plans for their improvement. But she never forgot about me. Annie, what do you want most?
There's so much I wanted to say. Safety, a family, a job, a purpose. But all I could manage was...
a friend. Could we in good conscience place ourselves in the position of these poor wretches, bereft of reason, deserted of friends, hopeless, troubles without and far more dreary troubles within? Overwhelming the mind is a wide breaking in of the waters.
She collected her reports and prepared them to present to the Massachusetts legislature to raise funds and expand hospitals, where she was surprised to see two familiar faces, her good friend, General Levi Lincoln, who was the governor of Massachusetts, and the new Massachusetts Secretary of State, her ex-fiancé, Edward Bangs.
I come as a diplomat for the helpless, forgotten.
She must be one of them.
Hey! I come as an advocate for the people who can't speak for themselves. I hear their cries and will do what needs to be done. So, gentlemen, please.
She's just a woman. Yeah, a real church bell.
If I may.
Go on.
I tell what I've seen. Painful and shocking are the details. Sickness and beatings. These people are not being treated well.
And why should we use our resources to help? We cannot be focused on only what you have seen. Nobody believes these people can be helped or cured, or even that they can feel the hot or cold. They will never contribute to society, so why bother?
Gentlemen, please.
I will use diplomacy and debate. There are people who are hurting, it's up to me. I will show them the whence I came. Gentlemen, if I may briefly call your attention to the conditions of these persons confined within this commonwealth. In cages, closets, cellars, stalls, pens, chains, naked. Yes, these are the horrors from whence I came. I have seen the effect of a better life on these poor individuals. I met a girl, her name Annie Connors. A raging maniac went to control her action words. She was taken in by a loving couple who agreed to care for her, and slowly she recovered her senses. If you grant the funding necessary, we can help hundreds of lives. As a woman and teacher, I understand the necessity of caring for those who cannot care for themselves. So, gentlemen, I implore you to think of your mothers, grandmothers, and wives as you cast your vote for this crisis of morality.
She makes quite the debate.
So what do we say?
Dorothea's reports were so moving to the legislation that they set aside funds for the expansion of the Worcester Hospital, and so she continued visiting every state east of the Mississippi River to investigate the conditions at almshouses and asylums. She managed to found 32 mental hospitals, 15 schools for the feeble-minded, and many training facilities for nurses. After these successes, she continued on with her most ambitious project, a bill requesting 5 million acres to be set aside for the care of the mentally ill. This bill was passed in 1854 and was approved by both the House and the Senate. However, the bill was then vetoed by President Franklin Pierce.
5 million acres? She must understand what she's asking of her country. While her debates and declarations of morality are commendable, she's simply not seeing this from a financial perspective. Social welfare is not the responsibility for the federal government. We have more important things to concern ourselves with. This is a matter that should be left up to the states, not a woman from Massachusetts. There are risks we can't risk taking. History will say it's true. When there's choices needing making, I can't leave it up to you.
After debating for the mentally ill for 13 years, Dorothea was physically worn out and decided to go back to Europe to recover. However, while there, she did not rest. Instead, she continued her work in improving the conditions of asylums and hospitals. In her 2 years in Europe, she visited many European countries. She even enlisted the help of the Duke of Argyll and Queen Victoria. In Italy, she also met with Pope Pius IX, informing him that the local asylum was a scandal and disgrace. He then had the matter investigated and ordered reformation of the institution.
When Dorothea returned to the United States, the Civil War caused the mental health reform to come to a screeching halt. Dorothea helped create a Women's Army Nursing Corps and was later appointed the superintendent of the Union Army Nurses. Dorothea was not well liked by the other civil nurses as they found her overbearing and too serious. Dorothea purposely would only rescue nurses who were over 30 and not too distracting to the soldiers.
Dorothea, I would like to talk to you about how you're treating the other nurses. We believe that you're being too hard on these women. War is grueling enough. They don't need it from the inside as well.
Dorothea was later removed from her position in the fall of 1863 and returned home. In 1881, the first hospital constructed due to her efforts, the Trenton Hospital in New Jersey, opened. At the time, her health was failing once more, so she checked herself into the Trenton Hospital where she stayed for 6 years until her death in 1887.
Broken mind, the world will heal if only we are kind. Dorothea had an incredible impact in her lifetime. In the United States, she founded over 32 mental institutions and more in Europe, as well as heading major legislative change and support within the United States. But perhaps her biggest impact was the movement that she created. She took a nation who believed that the mentally ill could not feel hot or cold and reformed it. It's due to her that we have the long-term impacts we have today.
The extent of her outreach can still be seen today in the many institutions named in her honor, and the thousands more that wouldn't be here without her findings and advocacy. She would be amazed to see the society we have today and the movement to destigmatize mental illness, a movement that wouldn't be possible without her life's work.
Dorothea Dix is a diplomat for the mentally unwell.